Hello Wheel Masters, and welcome to Mastering the Wheel. In today's video, do I ever have a treat for you guys? So a few days ago, I developed a strategy that's been doing extremely well, so I thought it was time to share it with you guys. Now, I use my program BetMaster to execute the bets on this strategy, and when you see it, you'll see why. And it's this kind of strategy that just shows how powerful using a roulette tool like BetMaster is. It takes roulette to the next level, and today you're going to see that. So let me show you exactly what it can do and what this progression can do, and I hope you're just as impressed as I was. Now, before we do get into the video, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button and the like button, it does help out the channel a great deal, and I very much appreciate it. So thank you for that. Now let's get into the video. All right, so here's my program, BetMaster. I know some of you have seen it, but for those of you who are new here, this is a roulette tool that I use, and it's got so many features, and we're going to go through a lot of them today. So make sure you watch right to the end because this video is packed with all kinds of information. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is actually build the progression. So I know some of you may have already seen this process, but this will give you a chance to just see exactly what kind of options we have available to us, and then some to build pretty much whatever you can dream of. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to go into the bets tab right now and go right to create. And we're going to call this strategy dual Fibonacci. And we're going to put in the stop loss, the bankroll for this. Now, this is a really small bankroll, surprisingly. We can start with only $89. All right. And the stop win today is going to be $20. We're going for 20%. Normally I do 10%, but you'll see why we go 20% today. All right. So just over 20%. And we'll call the bankroll $89 and we'll leave everything else like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and build this. Now, in here are where all of the options are. And the first thing we're going to be betting on are dozens. And we're going to bet on the hottest dozen and one of them to start with. And the first bet is going to be $1. Simple as that. Okay. And then what we're going to be doing today is having individual bet groups. So I'm going to leave this here on all bet groups, or all groups are independent. So this is one independent bet. Now I'm going to add another group. And what we're going to do here is we're going to be betting on a dozen, but we're going to be betting on the second hottest dozen. Okay, so we're betting on 2 dozens now. Each one of these are independent bet groups, which means they run through their own individual progression. They keep track of their own bets and move independently. Okay, it's also going to have a $1 bet. Now we're going to add another bet group. And this one is going to bet on columns. We're going to leave it at the hottest. And we're going to bet $1 and leave everything else the same. And then we're going to add another bet group. And this one is also going to be betting on columns, but the second hottest, and the starting bet is also going to be $1. Okay, so that's what we've got for our level 1 progression. I'm going to go ahead and save that level, and then we'll copy that level. And for level 2, now we are doing a Fibonacci sequence. So because of Fibonacci, we don't actually have to change anything on the second level. All the bets can stay the same. Everything is going to stay the same. For those of you who don't know what Fibonacci is, so it's basically where you take the last, the sum or the amount or sum of the last 2 bets, and that equals what your next bet will be. So in other words, for level 1 and 2, each of these bets were $1. So you add those together. Now the bet on level 3 is going to be $2. Okay. So let's go into level 3, and we're just going to change these bets to $2. And that's it. And then we're going to add level 2 and 3 together, and that's going to come to $3. So level 4 will be $3. And then we're going to go to level 5, and that will be $5. Because 2 plus 3 is 5. All right. And now we'll make another level. We're going to make level 6. And this will be $8 because 5 plus 3 is 8. And then level 7, this one's going to be 13 because 5 plus 8 is 13. And then we just keep going like that. So this one will be 21. And this is going to be the last level. And this one's going to be 35 units. Okay. All right, and because this is the last level, I do have to change this win-lose condition, because if I leave this just the way it is, it's just going to go back to level 1 and start with level 1 bets. We don't want that. So I'm going to go to this setting here and go stop placing bets, and that's all I have to do now. So I'm going to save this, save the profile. Now, I'm going to show you guys one quick thing first. I'm going to load up another profile where it has just basically one of the thirds. Because you saw here we have all kinds of bet groups, and I'm going to show you what the probability of a third is of failing, because everything in roulette has a probability of failure and of success. So what I try to do is use math to figure out what the probability is of something failing, and then I get a number in terms of spins, and then I use that number and take 20% of it to give myself the window that I'm going to operate within. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to load, I called it test math. And all this is it's just 1/3 all the way down 9 levels, just like we did, but only using 1/3. And it'll show you what the chances of 1/3 is failing with 9 levels. Okay. So if I go over here into win probabilities, it tells me that the expected total spins before ruin is 102 spins. Okay, so I can expect to miss 9 of one of the thirds, one of the thirds 9 times, roughly once every 102 spins. That's what that means. Now, of course, this just gives us an idea. It's not like that's going to happen on cue, but it just gives you an idea of what the risk profile is for a third to fail. Okay, that's all it is. So we're going to take that number and say, well, 20 spins. All right, I said I'd stay for 20%. So we're going to stay for 20 spins. That's our window. All right, so now that we know that, I'm going to go ahead and load our dual heat Fibonacci. And now I have to just set up a session so we can start playing. So I will call this dual heat. Okay. And I'm going to give myself, I know I said $89, but I'll just put $100 in here for the bankroll. Nice round number. And I have to input the data because we are going to be betting on the hot stuff. So I'll show you how I do that really quick. This isn't going to take long. I just have to open up the history. There's the history right there. I do have to start up data collection, so I'm going to do that so that way my program can start reading the numbers. Now that's going. I'm going to use my snippet tool. I'm going to take a copy or a picture of this, save it to a file. Now I'm done with that. I can add the results from screenshot. There it is there. $88 spins is correct. And there we go. I now have all of the results. You can see them there, 35, 18, and now 27 is about to populate. There we go. So we are now collecting data. Okay, so I'm ready to go. I'm just going to set the spin window to 74 spins. That's basically 2 full cycles of the wheel. 37 times 2 is 74. And that's going to be what all of our data is looking at. Okay, I'm going to activate my play money mode. And now I'm going to activate the progression. So it's going to start placing bets as soon as that next spin result is detected. And if you notice over here in the history window, that's where our bets are going to be populated. Now, again, if you're new to the channel, this might be the first time you're seeing this. It's not going to be placing actual bets on the table. It's going to simulate them like you just saw right there. So it just placed a bet on the 2 hottest dozens and the 2 hottest columns. And you can see that right here. We can see $1 was placed on outside bets, second dozen and third dozen, and third column and first column. So those are where all of our bets are placed right now, okay? So now we're just waiting for a result, and we'll see what happens. And remember, guys, we're only staying for 20 spins. That's the window, whether we make our $20 or not. Okay, so we just hit 6. So do we have anything in the third column and first dozen? Okay, so we took a loss. No problem. So it went ahead and rebet. Now we are doing a Fibonacci sequence. So because each column and dozen is operating independently, some columns or dozens may be in level 1, 2, or 3 independently of another one that might be in level 1, 2, 3, or whatever. A column can be in level 1 while a dozen can be in level 5 because they, like I say, they operate completely independent. Their bets are being tracked completely separately. And that's one of the most powerful things about this tool is that it can track all of these independent bets. It's a very cool feature, really powerful. What a game changer. So there we go. We just won. That bet came to fruition. So now we're plus $1. And we can see here, so something is on level 3. We've got a $2 bet on the third dozen and first column. So neither of those have hit yet. And when they do, our bets will come to fruition. We'll see that happen. We'll see it populate in our profit loss. Now let's see what we're going to get here. It looked like it was going to be an 8, but no, we've got a 30. So 30 is third column, third dozen. We have a third column bet and a third dozen bet. There we go. So we're up $4 already. Now, this kind of bet would normally be humanly impossible. I mean, maybe you could. It's a lot to keep track of, right? Each independent bet, we're playing with Fibonacci, so tracking how much you have to bet on each sector of the wheel, it gets difficult. This does it with absolute ease. All you have to do is set up the progression and let it go. You leave, come back, 20 minutes later, you'll have money in your account. So first column, second dozen. We do have a second dozen bet and a first column. Yeah, look at that, right up to $10. We got a bonus one on that. That was a bonus number. It's always nice when that happens. So we're already halfway to our target. Now, notice we're only 4 spins in. This is the kind of system where you get in and you get out quick. And it's probably going to happen so quick, just for the sake of the video, I'm going to run this a second time and you'll see we're going to win both times. I can't believe how well this progression has been doing over the last few days. Like I said, I had to share it with you guys. And since Betmaster is coming out on March 6th, I'm releasing it on March 6th. You guys are going to have access to it, and I really hope that you use this progression because you'll see just how powerful the program is. Like I said, game changing. So that one was, we're down $1. So we won some, but there's something that's got a bigger bet. Oh, I see. So we've got a $2 bet on third column. Okay. So it's on level 3 right now. And 11. So we've got a second column, first dozen. No problem. All those bets are going to be recovered. You'll see. So essentially, we just have to avoid missing any one of the columns or streets we're betting on, or sorry, not streets, columns or dozens that we're betting on 9 times. We don't want to miss one 9 times, obviously, because then we lose. And that event does happen on average once every 102 spins. Now, we have 4 of the third bets that we're betting on. So It could happen anytime, but it's still, I don't want to use the word rare because it's not that rare for a column or a dozen to miss 9 spins, but it's rare enough that it's not like it happens, crazy frequently, for a lack of a better word or term. Okay, so we're down $1, but that's okay. As soon as those bets come in, you'll see we will make our money back, and none of them have missed 6 times yet, so we're still in good shape. I can see that right here. If a dozen or if a column misses 6 times or more, it'll start showing up here in the trends section. And 19, so that's a first and second. And what are we waiting for right now? We are waiting for a third column, it looks like. Yeah, we've got $8 on third column and $5 on second dozen. And 36. So there's our third column. So that was our big bet. So that's going to come in. That's going to pay off. You'll see we'll shoot up into profit again. There we go. So we're up to $11. And we have an $8 bet on the third dozen right now. Oh, excuse me just 1 second. We have to bring the page back to life. That's an inactivity pause for being inactive for too long. And what was the result? There we go. So it was a 27. And so we got that. And we just shot right past our profit, guys. We are at $27 in profit with a target of $20, and we did that in 10 spins. Now, for the sake of the video, I'm going to run this through another cycle just to show you guys, the power of this and the chances that we lose. Now, if we do lose, it can happen, but I'm not expecting it to because the odds are in our favor. So I just reset it and we're starting again from scratch. And with a $20 target, we're looking at getting to $57 here. Okay. So let's see what happens. Now, after this 19 is detected, it will start placing bets. There we go. So now again, we're back to level 1 on all of the streets, or I keep on calling them streets. I don't know why. On all of the columns and dozens, and we'll see what happens. It's progressions like this. Like I've got a few progressions that use independent bet groups like this, and those are the ones that do the best. And these kind of bets are really impossible without a tool like this. Like I said, this tool is absolutely game changing for the game of roulette. Since I've been developing the tool, and I started this almost 3 years ago, I haven't played roulette without it, and now I couldn't imagine playing roulette without it. It's just, it's such a game changer. I can't go on enough about it. It's and it's not like, because I know there's lots of roulette tools on the market, and pretty much every single roulette tool I've ever seen is some kind of gimmick, and the so this is the biggest gimmicky giveaway about a roulette tool, and I think it's this type of roulette tool that gives roulette tools a bad name, and that's when you hear about a tool that says put in the last 5 numbers or put in the last 5 results and it'll predict the next number. I mean, come on, right? It doesn't matter how much data you give a tool, it's impossible to predict the next number. Roulette's not predictable. It's more or less random. What roulette also is, though, is governed by probability, which is where you can gain your edge in terms of creating, like I showed you in this video, a window that you can operate within, knowing the risk factors. That's where you can gain an edge. you're never going to be able to predict the next number or what pattern is coming next. That's impossible. So that's not what my tool does. As I'm demonstrating here, what it can do is, well, it can help you not make mistakes. That's the first thing. I don't know how many times I've run out of time on the clock trying to place my bets in the short amount of time these casinos give you. I haven't missed a bet since I've been using my program, and it doesn't make mistakes, right? So that's one factor. So I've just in that alone, I've made my money back, right, with the program. So it's like I don't make mistakes anymore. And then of course I can build progressions that are humanly impossible to execute, or bets that are impossible to keep track of. That's another huge advantage. The other advantage is that I can test strategies at the live wheel that I like to spend real money at before I actually put any real money at risk. Because I don't know about you, but I don't find the results I get from an RNG as accurate or as good as the results I get from a live wheel. RNGs they try to simulate randomness, but really in the end, it's hard coded math. It's just math. At a wheel, there's other variables that an RNG can't have, things that happen at a real wheel that the math can't explain. What I'm talking about specifically are biases, right? Every wheel, every dealer has some kind of a bias at some point. It doesn't happen all the time. And, just because I like to bet on the hot sections of the wheel doesn't mean that those hot sections mean that there's a bias going on. There's all kinds of deviation happening. Every number, every pattern operates within a deviation of its expected probability. But within that, I call it noise, there could be a bias. And if there is, then that's why I like to bet on the hot sectors, because if there is a bias, then I capitalize on it. And this program picks up on all of those things. So you can follow, like when you're looking at the casino's information, all they give you is the 5 hottest numbers, the 5 coldest numbers, and then they tell you what's hot, or sorry, I guess the percentages of all of the outside bets. Now, one thing I want to say about the heat of their numbers, it's not real heat. They're just showing you what numbers have shown up the most frequently compared to the others. Whereas my program actually shows you the real heat. And what a hot number actually is a number that's shown up more than its expected probability. And every number is expected to show up 1 out of every 37 spins. So if a number has shown up twice in 37 spins, then that would make it hot, right? Whereas the casino, it doesn't look at the numbers that same way, right? It just goes on frequency as opposed to probability. So it's already flawed in the way it tracks its heat. So yeah, so there's, like I said, there's all kinds of advantages to this program. And I've been doing all that talking and I haven't been paying much attention to the numbers, but we're not doing too badly. We've reached a high of $31. We're at spin 16. Now, I did say we'd be leaving at 20 spins, and we're at $41 there. A good bet just came to fruition. We're at spin, I guess we are on spin 18 now. That's 17 that have come through. Now, because I did start the progression over again, I'm just going to see this through till we get to our financial goal. Once it stops betting, we'll call it quits. But if I were playing this for real money, I wouldn't have run it a second time. I would have walked away. Now, let me just make something clear too about when you want to walk away from a table and then come back. The point of the walk away is not to just take a break and then come back. Because if you walked away for, say, half an hour and then came back to play, if the progression that you were using did not lose in that half hour, then coming back makes no sense at that point because the progression still has not lost yet. And I know the wheel has no memory and neither does the ball, but the chances of the progression failing, the longer it goes without failing, just keep on increasing because it's eventually going to fail. It can't go forever, right? And then on the flip side, the chances of a progression failing back to back is lower, right? Sure, that every progression has a chance of failing, but the chance of it failing twice consecutively are slim. So the idea of walking away from a progression after you've won or taking a break isn't about the time. Like, don't walk away for half an hour and then come back. What you really want to know is, while I was gone, did my progression fail, right? And if it didn't, then there's no point in starting a new one yet. You want to wait until it fails. In fact, I would say sit there and watch and wait for it to fail. and then start placing real bets again. Like that's one way I play. In fact, I'll play with play money. I'll sit down and I'll start playing with play money, and I'll play until I lose. Once I lose, I'll take out the play money and I'll start playing with real money, because the chances of the progression failing again back to back are slim. Right? It's all about probability. That probability governs the game of roulette. And if you understand the risks, if you understand the probabilities, you'll increase the chances of you winning, or on the flip side, decrease the chances of you losing. Now we have a third, let me think. Oh no, sorry, we have $13 on first column. So we're looking for a first column win. And we can see right here what level it's at. We're at level 7 of 9 right now. So we've got level 7 and then 2 more levels after that. So we need to hit a first column. And 34, speaking of the first column. Now that might even shoot us right past our goal. We were at $41 before this and we needed to get to 57. Oh, so no, not quite. Okay. So we're still betting. We're still in the game. Oh, and we still have... Oh, no. Okay. I saw $12 at the bottom there. It's a $12 total bet. Okay. So that's good. So our biggest bet right now is $5 on the third dozen and third column, it looks like. So that's why we didn't shoot up yet, because we've got money still invested in the table. So once those bets come to fruition, then we should hit our target. And 29 is second dozen, or sorry, second column, third dozen. And we do have a $5 bet on the third dozen. So we made some money there. So that bet came to fruition. And I guess we needed, you're right. Sorry, it wasn't $57 we had to get to. It was 47 because we finished the last one at 27. So there you go, guys. So 2 sessions in a row. We did it no problem. I made $48 and that was 22 spins. So not a bad take. Now, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, guys. Were you guys impressed by this strategy? Would you try something like this? What do you think of my program, Betmaster? Is it really as powerful as I say it is? Well, I think it is. What do you guys think? So on that note, guys, I'm going to leave it there, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I do really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care and have a great day. Bye for now.
I don't chase myths, I don't trust the vibe. I don't bet feelings, I quantify. When the numbers talk, I let them lead. Data shows you what luck can't see. It's not luck, it's math. The count, watch the pressure build, then pounce. Same wheel spin, same house game, but knowledge shifts, who feels the pain? Betmaster on, I don't guess tonight. I wait for the edge, then strike it right. They call it chance, I call it proof. Numbers don't lie, the math goes through.